All right, guys, what's going on? Big Cloud here, back again. So, E3 2019 has been a mixed bag for a lot of us. Been a very, very big mixed bag for us. I have a lot to talk about. Friday, we're definitely going to have fun with a lot of the stories that we got here. A lot to talk about, a lot of news. So definitely make sure you tune in tomorrow for the RGT podcast. We're going to be live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you there. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and start today's video. Let's get this out the way. Now, for those of you that have seen E3, you already know E3 this year wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the greatest. There was some good announcements, a lot of overwhelming bad ones, but there was some good announcements for games that we were looking forward to. We did get some context to some games that we're looking forward to. Others, we are still waiting for those, information for. All right. Now, this right here comes to no surprise to me. This is from Phil Spencer. Excuse me. From Phil Spencer. And he basically said that he wishes that Sony was at E3 this year. Now, I know some people are looking at this on Twitter and going, well, of course you want Sony to be there because, you didn't have anything, which is true. That is true. They didn't really have anything, but it goes a little deeper than that. I know a lot of things other people are talking about is, well, why would you want Sony there? Because it'll make you look worse than you already did, and vice versa. The reason why pretty much Phil said this, right? Phil wants Sony there. He wanted Sony there. Let's be real here. This year's E3, it just didn't feel the same without one of the major key players here, and that was Sony. It didn't feel the same. It felt like a lack of care went into this year's E3. There was a lot of games that were rumored to be here, like, for example, WB Games was supposed to show out the new Batman game, right? That didn't happen. A lot of stuff. It felt like a lot of developers just pulled out of E3 this year and opted to either show trailers or to not make any announcements whatsoever. Hell, there wasn't even an Assassin's Creed reveal at E3 this year. Instead, they're talking about musicals, So that's how it felt this year. And if you want to go back, right? Because this year is the first year that Sony did not want to come to E3. If you look at all the previous E3s before, regardless if you think Sony's E3 was good or bad or average, right? Sony's the main one at this time, or was the main one at this time, legit promoting E3. They went the extra mile with booth space. They went the extra mile in terms of presentation for their shows, in terms of style of presentation for their shows, right? They did all this stuff to immerse you in the experience. None of that was felt at E3 this year, even with Microsoft's E3, and they had the showroom floor to themselves. Nintendo was not there physically. They were there, but they weren't there physically, with their E3. Instead, they did it via, Nintendo Direct style, like, the Treehouse, like typical. But you get the point. There just wasn't that much here. So for Phil to say this, it doesn't surprise me in the least. It doesn't surprise me. All right, it doesn't. And speaking of E3, now this right here, I don't know how I feel about this. This is courtesy of Forbes. Apparently Forbes confirmed this, but Cyberpunk wasn't running on the Xbox One X during Microsoft's presentation. Instead, it was running on a PS4 Pro. Now, again, I don't know how I feel about that. That's a little much to take in there. Because again, like I said, Sony's not there at E3. Sony basically gave the spotlight to Microsoft. They didn't even advertise anything during the week. So if this was true, that's pretty telling. That is pretty telling. And for those of you saying that, well, the Xbox version will look better than that, it could, but at the same time, it could not. And here's why. First of all, Microsoft doesn't have the player install base that the PS4 has. If Microsoft had the player install base that Sony has with the PS4, then I can most certainly agree with you guys without a doubt. The only thing Microsoft has going with themselves with Cyberpunk is the marketing rights, meaning they're going to be marketing this more than Sony. But one thing we cannot rule out is that Sony's going to sell more units regardless on their platform with this game, because they have the gamers. So it would be kind of stupid on CD Projekt Red's, end to actually advertise, or not even advertise, but it would be stupid for them to, downgrade PS4 version for Xbox version when the Xbox version is not even going to make the same sales as the PS4 version. I'm just using common sense here. This is why I said in the live stream that I did 2 days ago was, this is why I said this, because it's the truth. It's pointless for them to invest money in deals like this when you don't have the gamers behind you to support deals like this, right? Instead, what they should have done was take that money and double up even further with these studios and help these studios give you demos, or more importantly, gameplay for these games that mattered. Third-party games like Cyberpunk, yes, they're fine. They're cool to look at. They're dope. We go to E3 for these announcements, but we also go to these E3 events for what you're working for in your first-party catalog. And Microsoft was lacking in that first-party catalog, heavily in that catalog. So, that's how I felt on the show. And yeah, that was just that was too much to take in, man. I was shocked by that. I was shocked by the lack of care. I really was. But to now to basically end this video, I'm just gonna go with this one. This is a rumor. Sony is going to acquire new studios according to a job listing. Now, I've seen some people on Twitter talking about Remedy being possibly bought by Sony. That would be cool. I ain't gonna lie, that would be a cool purchase for them to buy Remedy. Remedy's working on Control, which is going to be on Xbox and PS4. I'm not sure if they would go for it though. I know a lot of people are talking about, well, Remedy hasn't really been making no successful games as of late. Well, you guys also got to take into account that Remedy hasn't been under the guidance of a company like Sony. I think Sony could definitely push Remedy to push a game out there that can most certainly either be the next Max Payne or be something, just epic. I can see Sony pushing them to make something epic like that if they were, under Sony's, control and guidance. I can see that happening. But again, whether or not it's true or not, that's just rumor as of right now. So take it as you will. But to get into the story, let's go ahead and read this and end today's video. All right, so the story goes as follows. As Microsoft has spent the last 12 months adding 8 new studios to their first-party lineup, Sony has sat on the sidelines watching. Well, it looks like Sony will be following in Microsoft's footsteps and acquiring more studios in the coming months, if a new job listing is to be believed. Here's the job listing on the screen right now. Sony's PlayStation is looking for an M&A program manager with 2 to 3 years of relevant corporate experience for a 6 to 9 month contract position. The M&A program manager will support the company in the due diligence process and put together project timelines to ensure that all acquisition integration activities are on track. The phrase acquisition integration activities makes it sound like Sony is looking at buying some new studios in the coming months, and they need someone to help with integrating them into PlayStation's worldwide studios ecosystem. Again, take this for what it is, but not really much to it. They did throw in a possibility of a game here. This is what they said here. But who will it be? People have, long thought that Sony should acquire Housemarque, the developer of the fantastic Resogun and the upcoming Storm Divers. So that's one game they threw out there, or one developer and studio that they threw out there for Sony to acquire. But we don't really know what's really happening. So, I guess it's all up to speculation until we get the confirmation from Sony themselves. They could announce it at PSX. As you guys know, they did not rule out PSX this year. All they said was they're not going to be at E3 this year. So that's pretty much it. So, we're definitely at that. And there was also a report, if I remember correctly, of another state of play. So maybe they'll get the announcement at the other state of play. I'm not sure when that's going to happen. It was a while back, or not a while back, but it was a few days ago. Somebody posted that. I think it was Foxy who tweeted that out. So that was cool. So we'll see more information as we get closer and closer to it. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much today's video. I'm saving a lot of other stories for you guys tomorrow. It's going to be an extended show. It's going to be fun to sell tomorrow, so I can't wait for that. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, hit that like button. I do appreciate it. Definitely subscribe if you are new. Share the video around with a friend. I do appreciate that. Thank you again. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. Y'all be good, all right? This is Big Cloud Gaming. I'm signing out. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be easy. And I'll holler at y'all later. Deuces.